A good afternoon. How about you? Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much. Well, after a doctor, normally after a doctor, a patient follows. And literally here it's the case, is after Dr. Anurupa, here is a real patient here. And I am as experienced as her, actually. For 37 years, I've been a patient in my life. And it's been a wonderful journey, actually. And the theme is connecting the dots. And in fact, my life is full of dots. From the age of 4 till the age of 7, for 3 years, I had dots in my body because about 2,000 injections went through my body for asthma. And it went on like that. And life was really quite messy. As you heard, I was born with asthma, and because of wrong medication, with cortisone steroids, 60% of my lungs got damaged and my immune system broke down. And I was completely hopeless, without any hope, and I still am able to connect the dots sitting now. At the point I could not understand. And I want to encourage you, my friends, that when you face challenges and hurdles, that doesn't mean that's the end. If you really start connecting the dots, in the future you will be able to really see that why that happened or how that happened and how that enabled you to overcome and come to the point where you are. And for me it was hard. My father, an aerospace scientist, he told me, anytime you have a problem with maths and science, come and ask me. But every time I asked, the problem became a bigger problem because he was so smart and so intelligent, I could not understand his ways. But sadly in our culture, every firstborn son is expected to have the same brains like the father, but medically you can't prove that. And yet we expect that from our children, and it's not changed much at all. And it was hard to keep up to the expectations of my family. And then my school said, you are worthless, you are useless. I failed in my first language, Hindi, from my second standard to the 12th standard. It was a mistake by the teachers that they filled up my Hindi form in my second standard when I went for admission. If they would have failed me at the time, I would have really changed. But they did not. They helped me, and I faced the wrath of that, actually. And till 9th standard I failed in Hindi. Then 9th you have to pass in all the subjects, but the teacher felt compassionate to my mother, and she said, I can't teach him again, but I'll give him the same question paper. So I studied for 33.5 marks, and that's how I moved to 10th standard. And 10th, there was a new policy that where if you fail one language out of 3, if you move out of the school, basically they're kicking you out of the school, then they will pass you. So I was moved out to another school. In the 11th, there was an old Hindi teacher. She liked to look young, but all the boys called her Buddhi, and she didn't like the boys at all. So she failed all the boys in the classroom. And when that happened, the policy of CBSE is that you can only fail X amount of percentage of students in a class. If it is beyond that, then the problem is with the teacher. So since so many people failed, including some genuine failures like me, so they said that the problem was with the teacher, and so that's how they moved me to the 12th standard. Because I just lived from one grace to the other grace, but still there was nothing in me that could find hope, and I was completely worthless. And I was beaten as a child, but beating can never help you. It put fear to respect my father, but it was not out of love. It was just out of fear. Same thing with the teachers. And I just lived a hopeless life. And then medically, the doctors found out that I only have 6 months to live. I will not survive any longer. Imagine at 16, you have 6 months to live. What kind of future would you look at? What kind of deal would you look at life? And it was tough. It was so difficult. When I look back, the first 16 years of my life was completely a mess. I had no musical talents also. I went for music lessons, by the way, when I was 15. And the guitar teacher told me, please don't come back anymore, because you have no talent of clapping or singing to the right beat. So don't come back anymore. In those days, they used to say, I think sometimes nowadays they still say that no matter how bad you are not totally useless. You can always be used as a bad example. And I was one of those who was continuously used as a bad example. And at 16, I contemplated to commit suicide. And suicide is never the answer to any problem, my dear friends. India is becoming a capital of suicides. In the year 2006, we had 16 students committing suicide every day. And most of them are from educated backgrounds. What is education doing to us? We are becoming slaves to education rather than trying to utilize education for a greater purpose and benefit. I'm going to play this song to continue with my story. This song says, what a wonderful world. Yes, today I can sit down, I can talk about the wonderful world that I enjoy, but it was not wonderful. And only 2 months ago, I was inspired by God to pick up this instrument. It's a completely new instrument for me. And with 40% lungs, to play a wind instrument is impossible. But I really believe that with God and His strength, all things are possible. What is impossible for man is possible for God. And as I play this song, and I want to encourage you, is please don't give up. No matter how difficult life gets, don't give up. Put your faith in God. He can really help you to carry you through this situation. Please have the reverb and the song going on. So for a person with only 40% lungs to play an instrument, a wind instrument, there's nothing impossible for you to achieve here on this earth. So don't give up. But it was tough for me. At 16, no hope. Medically I was written off. Educationally I was written off. In family, at school, everywhere people said you are worthless. How can you find motivation? My friends, by blaming somebody else, nothing is going to change. By being angry, can you change anything? Nothing. By being bitter, arrogant, nothing is going to change. Even by getting angry with a doctor, can it restore my lungs back? No. So what you have to do is take life as it is and face life. And that's where you start connecting the dots. And for me, that's what I did at 16. I remember at the lowest point of my life, I had an encounter with Jesus Christ. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, even though you are called useless, I still need you. I said, why? Why do you need me when the whole world says I'm useless? He said he could transform my life and make me a new person. And so today what I do is with my travels and with my journey is I try to spread that message of hope for people. Don't give up no matter how difficult it gets. So in 2004, I was invited to play at the Olympic Games in Greece. And it was a great opportunity. But they strictly told me that they just wanted my music and not my story. But for me, the challenges that I've faced and I've overcome is more precious and important than my music. I am not here to perform, but I'm here to inspire people. Just by performing, I will entertain you. But if I inspire you, things can change. I remember when I finished playing this pan flute at the Paralympic Games in London this year, a heroin drug addict was so touched and inspired that the next day he went to a rehab center, got himself admitted, and he said, I want to start a fresh new walk without drugs. That is what really encourages me to go forward, takes me to the places where I should not be going, climb mountains where I cannot do it with my own strength. But it gives me that passion to go and touch. So I pray to God that He will help me to design a guitar the world has never seen, so that this guitar will attract people and come and ask me questions. How come a worthless guy could design something the world has never seen? And that will give me a reason to talk back to them and share the story of hope and faith in my life. Now, my dream was to go to one country in my lifetime. And it was hard. You know, India is big. No matter how far you travel, you're still in the same country. It is not like Europe where you just jump to another country, you just go there. But it was tough to believe and imagine. Now again, everything was centered in your academic level. You do well in studies, only then you can travel. But that's a lie. We all have different passions in life. We have to follow that, and that's where you find full contentment and complete joy. And today I meet presidents who want to quit their jobs. I find ambassadors who say, Benny, I'm not made for this job. I'm sitting there, I'm saying, you are representing your country. They say, when we sit down and talk to you, we find that our passion is different from what we do. And here, I started to connect these dots. Because of my 40% lungs, and with the help of God, it pushed me to play the pan flute. And same thing with arthritis, it pushed me to play this instrument. Because they stopped me from not sharing, it pushed me to designing a guitar. Because I have an interesting story, it pushed me to sharing my story over my music. And so I prayed to God. I said, God, my dream is to go to one country in my lifetime. But what is your dream for my life? I believe dreaming the dreams of God for our life is more important than what the world can ever offer. And here, when I asked God for that, He said, I want you to travel to every nation by 2010. I said, God, this is impossible. I know at the previous TED Talk, when I spoke in Surat, the guy at the vote of thanks, he said, for Benny, his faith is the biology of his life. And that is true. For me, without faith, I can't do most of the things. With 40% lungs, how can I climb the stairs in the aeroplane? I've collapsed many times. I've been unconscious for 3 days. With arthritis, to play a guitar is impossible. I went to Antarctica to perform for the scientists, to encourage them, to bless them for what they're doing. 69 hours of flying time from India to Antarctica and back. It's not a joke to sit in the plane for 69 hours. But when I see a purpose, it gives me the passion to go forward, to face any danger, to do that. So I said, God, I'll never ask for money, never borrow money, never take a loan, and no credit. If you have these 4 principles in life, most of your problems are already solved. Because most of our problems are centered around money. Who said that money decides everything? No, I want to be a master of money and not a slave of money. Same thing with cleanliness, in terms of not just about dirt, even how you run the race. I tell people, you want to run a race, run it clean. It was tough for me. When I had to do my first international concert tour, I went to Russia. For 30 hours, they held me in the airport. And after 30 hours, I was deported back to India because I did not give a bribe. My friends, you want to see our country rid of corruption? It does not just start with joining a movement. It starts within you. If you and I take a stand saying, I will never give that, I will never pay that extra, I will stand up for truth, even if I have to miss my concert, even if I have to be deported back, I will not compromise with the system. For me, my character is more important than my achievement. That's why God helped me. Today, I need a bag for my passport. This is my one passport. I have to break it into 2 pieces because it doesn't fit into the machines anymore. And this one passport, I'm so proud that it's an Indian passport. Again, God created me an Indian. So I connect that with my travels. Today I'm able to challenge so many nations, telling them that don't give up. Your nationality is a gift from God. If you stand up for truth, you can fight against every system. People many times try to go to another country so that they can have a better life. For me, no. I told them that I will fight against the system and stay clean and one day be an achiever. And that's what happened. You can show the world map. And this is the world map of my travels. And I was able to travel to every single nation here on this earth, debt-free. Never borrowed money, never asked for money. Every single concert I've performed, I've done it free. And yet, I was able to achieve this goal, becoming the 4 world records were broken. And one of them is the fastest man in the history to travel to every country in the shortest time. I got all my visas. And it is possible. I want to make my nation proud all over the world. I'm proud to be an Indian. And I want to use this as a tool to do that. So as I close by playing this song, again, this was the song I played at the Olympics in London and also for the Greece. But I just want to tell you, my friends, don't give up. Run the race clean. No matter how dirty it might get, no matter how difficult it might get, if you and I stand up for truth, and with the help of God, that truth will set our country free from every situation. It's not just all about money. I was able to travel to every country without money, without asking for money. I live a very simple life, and yet I travel 50 countries every year. And I enjoy this life to the fullest. I go into war zones. I went to Tibet to talk to 100 orphan girls in a monastery to share a message of hope to them. I go into the dangerous places, yet to just share this hope, because I found hope. I found life today. At 16, doctors gave up life on me. They said, you will not live more than 6 months. Today I'm 37. I've already surpassed the expiry date that the doctors had put on my life. If I could do that, you can also do that. So enjoy this song called Shout to the Lord.